Right, greetings again from Hannover Messe. We are in Schneider Electric's booth with Fabrice, Jadot. Welcome.
Thank you, Sean.
And the topic of today is Industry 5.0. Actually, yes, there's still a lot of questions about Industry 4.0, particularly what's the state in Europe, as we've learned yesterday, or as people are asking yet. Let's talk a little about how, most factories weren't built for Industry 4.0 or with the Industry 4.0 or 5.0 in mind. How do you design for human-centric, sustainable manufacturing when you have 30 years old control systems still running the show?
Yeah, I think it's a good question, a good challenge as well. To make it simple, maybe so that we're on the same page, the way we see Industry 5.0 is to bring a human touch to the Industry 4.0, which was very technology-centric, and yes, humans are still a key part of the story. But in both cases, what we believe is that the core of this transformation is all about software-defined automation. And this
or open software-defined automation.
And even more than that, it's open software-defined automation. Or if you want to say it in another way, it's universal automation. It's also another way. It's to combine open and software-defined. And as it is based on software, this is the way you can tackle this 30 years old story, because it's all about software. What is usually, and we'll come back, I think, to it, another question, what is difficult to change is hardware. This is always a big deal, even though there are ways to do it in a stepwise. But the way to start a transformation is to focus on the software, because the software, it's easier to upgrade your software, to change your software, to move to a software-centric approach. What is becoming a challenge, at least to make it fast, is that if you need to change all your hardware, that you know it's running and you don't want to touch.
Got it. Thank you for that. Now, I saw in your title you had attached automation for sustainability, incubator. I am curious if you could double-click a little bit on how do you move fast with innovation in an industry where equipment lasts 30 plus years?
Yeah. And I think you say it, we speak about equipment. So yes, hardware are lasting long, but software can evolve much faster. And of course, you have to go, as I said, in a stepwise approach.
Right.
And you have not to change all your hardware at one point in time. You can make it happen step by step. Think about an example. You have an installation where, and this is the strength of software-defined automation, an installation when you used to have a PLC and then you used to have drives. What you can do with software-defined automation is remove the PLC and execute your control in the drives. This is a first step to start with, so it's even beneficial because you can remove some hardware,
right?
And you have something that enables you to test your new solution. This is also the other way around. You can keep your controllers, but just upgrade them with a new software. But you keep your I/O, you keep your field devices. So you are not forced to change all the equipment, all the big stuff, the big cabling and so on. No, you can go layer by layer,
changes,
step by step. Or you can also do, you have your line control. Usually line control runs on more standard, I would say, edge computing devices. They are easy to upgrade in terms of software. This is a way where you can start. You start at your line control management. So you don't touch your critical equipment control. You start at your line control management to learn the technology, to digest the change, and then you can go down when it makes sense for you.
Thank you for those insights. Now, you've mentioned several times the software-defined automation. What's the turning point moment for the open software-defined automation? Have you reached it yet?
I don't know whether we have reached it yet, but clearly we are on the path to get there. I have no crystal ball, so I cannot tell you when it will happen. What I can tell you is that it will happen. It will happen because we are addressing a pain point of end customers. And even end customers think about open process automation, Namur open architecture. End customers start to get together and to tell to automation supplier, please do it in a different way, because the challenges we are facing today in terms of efficiency, sustainability, we cannot address them anymore with the good old technology, which was good, no doubt, but we need to make a step now to really help them face their new challenges.
Right. Now I know there's not one answer for everything, but people do want simple things. So what's one thing software-defined automation enables that traditional system never could?
It's really to have independent life cycle between software and hardware. Meaning you can start by what you know, which is your control application of your process, of your machine. This is what you know as a customer. You know the machine, you know your process. So you can start by thinking about that, and then you can figure out what is the hardware you need to execute this application control. Whereas today you have to start by thinking about what is the hardware we need to make it happen. And usually from one side to another, it's different because of many reasons, and you have to start again and again and again.
Right, now back to the Industry 5.0. Is there a industry that's moving the needle faster than others? And
they are, I would say, there are some moves in many industries actually. I would mention, and I will tell you what are the different drivers. Automotive, CPG, mining, mineral and metal, water, wastewater, energy and chemicals. So you see a broad spectrum of segments. And for different reasons. For some, and that are the reason I go across the segments. Some are they are engaged in a digital transformation, and when they are engaged in digital transformation, software-defined automation, goes fit pretty well to their transformation. So this is one way. Another way, it's new economies versus mature economies. New economies have less legacy to manage, I would say,
right.
And so they adopt that much faster because they have lots of sandbag to manage, if you see what I mean. Then you have also some technologies that I would pick automotive on this one, but others as well, CPG I would say, but automotive, they want always to be at the forefront of the state of the art, at the cutting edge technology. So they want to adopt that because they've always high pressure on adapting the latest technology to be more efficient, more sustainable as well. What else I could mention as well is also the generation of the people. We see, because we know that the baby boomer and so on are going to have a shift of generation also in the companies, and with that shift of generation we see also that change of mindset, and they are more receptive, or software defined is appealing to them because this is what they have learned for all during the engineering studies or whatever. They play with digital night and day, so they understand what it is about.
Got it. Thanks for sharing those insights. Now, you've led technical teams for many decades. If there was, particularly in the industrial automation, if you could fix one thing in the automation, what would that be?
To fix one thing in what sense?
The way industry approaches automation today, whether it's from the adhering to the Industry 4.0, Industry 5.0, yes. What would be the one thing that you'd want to fix?
I think behind 4.0 and 5.0, and probably something we have lost in the past years, is value. What is the value automation can bring? Everybody understands that they need automation, but over the last year they see it more and more rather than must have a kind of constraint to live with, and something they need, but they did not see anymore the value. And I think this is what we have to fix now, that they see again automation as a value driver for efficiency and of course sustainability. If you look at the productivity, by the way, I understand the perspective, because productivity was more or less flattish over last decade. And moving to software defined, we can again bring a step of productivity. So I think this is a key point. Let's go back to the pain they have and the value we can bring to change the status quo.
Do we see a template in a toolkit that is like you start with the value? How do you prove the value up in front?
Yeah, but this is what we do with software-defined automation. We start by listening maybe again to their pain points.
Sure.
Automation was not everywhere, but more and more was kind of a given.
Right.
And so yes, we need to automate. Fine, but we were missing the point of what are their new pains, because they are facing new pains that they were not used, like price of energy. It's a new pain. making sure that if they face again a COVID crisis, they will not stop their production again. So they are facing new pains, and we have to start again to listen to that, and then we can easily bring the value to them. And by the way, they started by themselves by saying, we want open process automation, we want open automation architecture, we want the value out of it, and not anymore only the benefit of automating things, but also creating value for us.
And that goes back earlier my career. My entire career has been in open type of environment.
Yeah.
Whether it's PC-based controls and later in life and SCADA and operations management, all open versus closed proprietary.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there was good reason to be close on proprietary performance, robustness. The technology was what it was for all of us. And also, as a consequence, the business model was attached to that. So that's why it's a change, because when you go to software defined, as you can imagine, the business model has to evolve as well. Right. So that's why it's a significant change.
Fabrice, thank you so much for your insights. And if you're in the audience, feel free to leverage the hashtag you see on a screen, and we'll get Fabrice or somebody on his team to answer them.
Thank you.